Griselda was finally able to get up off the floor and run towards the door. Blood flowing from her nose, from her mouth, face swollen up, and grabbed her by her shirt. Griselda was still in the process of motion of running, so the shirt actually ripped from her back. So by the time she got outside, she was bare-chested. She only had pants on. So she ran through the driving rain, past the pits of mud, past the Roman cows, the pigs, the wild pigs, and she worked her way all the way to the Medellin Valley. From the time that she was forced from home at the age of 14, up until she was in her early 20s, the godmother was a prostitute in Colombia.
And she met her first husband, Trujillo.
Griselda's first husband, Carlos Trujillo, was the father of her 3 sons, Dixon, Uber, and Osvaldo. Carlos passed away. Griselda met a guy named Alberto Bravo.
Alberto Bravo was allegedly her common-law husband.
He would also be the man to introduce her to cocaine dealing. They became just another couple selling drugs in Colombia, small-time drug dealers. Alberto explained to Griselda, well, let's go see if we can live the American dream in the United States. So together with Griselda, her 3 kids, and Alberto, packed up and moved to New York City. They moved to Queens, New York. Griselda Blanco had a goal and she had a mission to flood the United States with her Colombian cocaine. Within months, Griselda Blanco and Alberto Bravo, they were millionaires within months, literally.
Griselda saw the American market as a new testing ground. The competition was severe back in the early 70s.
Authorities say there's an avalanche of cocaine crossing our borders.
By 1972, Griselda had basically wrestled control of the drug trade from not only 5 mafia families who were operating at the highest levels of cocaine dealing at that point, but also all of the independent dealers who were in Queens and the surrounding areas at that time. They were moving probably about a ton of cocaine every 3 weeks or so. She had started with $26,000 in lifetime savings. A year after that, her and her husband, Alberto Bravo, she had a weekly income of $10 million.
It became evident that she was a significant trafficker, one of the spokes in a major cocaine distribution conspiracy.
Well, in 1975, after having sold drugs in Queens, New York for the better part of 3 years, a federal grand jury in the Eastern District of New York found that there was enough evidence to indict the godmother.
Just 1 month before the tall ship Gloria from Columbia, South America, graced New York Harbor during the Opsail bicentennial celebration, she was stopped and 13 pounds of cocaine were found on board.
Those indicted were Alberto Bravo and Griselda Blanco,
along with 37 of her subordinates for conspiracy to import cocaine. This was the first major cocaine indictment against a major cocaine trafficker in the United States.
During the course of the investigation, she had not surfaced. She was always the elusive individual, the mystery woman, so to speak. When it came time to take the case down, we didn't know where they were.
She basically became a federal fugitive.
There were several seizures that took place, which in my belief caused the primary subjects to head south.
She moved her operation to Miami, Florida during that time.
The focus shifted to Miami.
If she wanted to disappear and not be captured, I mean, she had the means to do it. Her fortune was estimated at $500 million. But once she relocated to Miami, her fortune, it basically tripled.
From there, they just took on big time drug trade.
In Miami, that's when she became a billionaire, cash money billionaire. Once Griselda Blanco established herself in Miami, her network of dealers numbered 1,500 plus. Her weekly payroll by itself ran into millions of dollars. She trafficked cocaine into the United States like no single dealer had before her. There were a lot of independent dealers in Miami at the time. There were Cubans, there were other Colombians, but she trafficked cocaine in such large volumes that many of the independent dealers couldn't compete with Griselda Blanco. She had a penthouse on Biscayne Bay. She had a Miami Beach estate, you know, it was a palace. She had expensive European cars, convertible Rolls-Royce automobiles, and she had lavish A-list parties at her mansion. They were parties like none other.
All the drug dealers hang out there.
All the big names in the cocaine business at that time, or the up-and-coming traffickers, Pablo Escobar, Carlos Slater, those guys, they attended the godmother's functions, and there would be scantily clad women walking around, some women completely nude, servicing the needs of the guests. In the godmother's foyer at her palace, at her Miami Beach mansion, there was a bronze sculpture.
There we have it.
Right down to the smirk. And like when all
Although this bidding
every time they came
doesn't look to be,
they would always
you know,
rub the
that
statue
challenging,
for good luck. So whatever it was, the
due to
godmother
the
had, hopefully would rub
wacky
off.
tolerances in this lock,
Every time he would
put up a hell of a fight. Not to mention, I'm way out of practice. I've been down with pneumonia for a while, so I haven't done a straight pick out of the box in quite some time. So there it is, another 1105 blue,
Oh, I gotta get rid of that shit.
single pin picked with a long hook, or medium hook.
And she does do too.
She was known as La Madrina at that time.
So,
I got down to Florida.
you know, peace, don't break the law, have fun, and for good picking tools like Gosso and Clom, go to uklockpickers.co.uk.